Look at that snowfall. Look how deep it is. Just keeps building up. Squeegees. They come just like that, small squeegees, and that slides right off. Now, you may ask why I'm doing this. These are $1 at value. That's all they cost. Very cheap. Put a little bit of super glue on there so it doesn't come off. I'll explain to you why I am doing this. Huh? Get back there. Now it won't come off. And you guys get to see my living room. Isn't it a mess? My kid makes all these things, these pictures, tapes things together. He says, "Can I put them on the wall?" Whatever, dude. Makes you happy? Rock out. Do your thing. I don't care. He likes it. So my wife encourages him to draw more, do more, and that's what he does. I think it's pretty cool. Anyway, so the reason I do this, I bought two because I can't find the ones from last year, and I always like to have a backup. I cannot stand dirty windows on my trucks. There, now they'll stay. I can't stand dirty windows on my trucks, on any of my cars. When you are out plowing snow, and after a couple hours of plowing snow and it's nasty outside, you're going to get stuff all over your windows. And if you can't see out your windows, you can't see in your side mirrors, you can't back up, and it's just a pain. It's a nightmare. So what I do is, if you've ever tried spraying glass cleaner on the outside of your windows when it's like 10 degrees outside, for one thing, it sucks. It's 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, you're out plowing and you spray stuff all over your windows and it hardens up. It clumps up. Glass cleaner will clump up all over your windows. It's a mess when it's that cold out. There's certain kinds that don't clump up as much, but it, like, when you're trying to wipe it off, it's like streamy. It's a mess when you combine it with paper towels. But then you also have to keep paper towels with you. If you leave the can, I use can glass cleaner, the aerosol that foams up. It's the best kind, no streaks. That's what I use all summer long. If you leave the can in the truck, or if you leave the bottle, say Windex spray, in your truck, and overnight when you're not plowing or during the day, whatever, it freezes up. So what I do, I've always carried these, one of these in my truck. Sometimes I'll have them both in there. And if my windows get bad and I can't see because all the stuff, the salt, everything coming up off the road, and you can't see them, what I'll do is I'll get out and I'll take the shovel that's in the back of my truck, or I'll just take my hands and my gloves and I'll scoop up some snow and I'll throw it at the window, and I'll real quick go like that, right across the window, jump back in the truck. You got a couple streaks maybe on the window, or sometimes it actually gets it perfect, or just straight down a few times. Your window's clean, just with snow, and you're ready to go. That's what those are for. Okay, so on this, I don't know how many parts this is going to be. I could combine it into one video. It could be this big, massive video. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to break it down. You may get them all today because I'm bored and I don't have nothing better to do. I'm definitely going to be going out plowing later. They're calling for 2 to 4 inches, but here it is. It is December 15th, 2017. And I can't remember the last winter that I've plowed in December. Now, for years and years and years, I'm in western New York area where the lower Niagara River meets Lake Ontario, right above Buffalo. We are known for our horrible winters, but we haven't had a bad winter in years. Usually we get maybe a little bit of snow in December, really nothing plowable. The ground's still too warm, nothing's been sticking. January we get extremely cold temperatures. It'll be single digits with wind chill. It'll be 15, 20 below. Really cold outside. We'll start to get a little bit of snow here and there. February we get pounded with snow every year, and then March kind of little snow, a little warm. By April we're mowing. But I've been out probably 8 times plowing so far this year. 6 of them have been this week, almost every night this week, and I've been salting probably double that. So we've gotten a lot this year. And it looks like I'm going out again today. They're calling for 2 to 4. It's supposed to be over by 7 o'clock tonight, and then go out after that, which would be perfect. I could still go out, get everything done, come home, sleep for a night. That'd be fantastic. But so this is going to be all about plowing. Now, I'm going to leave the comments on in each one of these videos for the time being. If people start getting nasty, they start getting degrading, arrogant, so on and so forth, I'm going to shut the comments off. Each one of these steps is going to be my opinion. It's going to be my experience, what has worked for me, what hasn't worked for me. I've been getting so many questions, so I figure a video series is the best way to do it. So I'm just going to run through it. This first one is going to be strictly on trucks, and I might go into plows and salters. It's going to kind of be an equipment thing. As you guys know, follow me, I use a 1500. It's a 2005 GMC 1500 extended cab with the 4-door, not the full 4-door, but you know, the 4-door, short bed. It has a 2-inch leveling kit in it, and I have timber and suspension system front and back. I am on my 4th year now with this same plow. It is a Boss RT3 7.5 foot straight blade with Buyers Pro wings. It is a poly blade. Everyone says you can't put wings on a poly blade. Yes, you can. It's because the mounts for the wings are supposed to be bolted to the blade itself, to the face of the blade. That's why you got to use a steel blade. I just turned them and welded them to the side of the frame. I've had them 4 years, never a problem. I've been plowing parking lots, driveways, you name it. Stone driveways, paved, concrete, everything. Never a problem. But the plow used to drop the truck like 6-7 inches in the front. I put the timber and suspension system in the front. It drops maybe 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches. I originally went with a poly blade because I wanted a lightweight plow on the front of this truck. Little did I know, a 7 foot 6 inch blade in steel is lighter than a poly blade. The reason being is because they put a lot more what they call ribbing and bracing and the back framing behind the blade. And that's all in steel. They put a lot more behind that poly blade than they do with a steel blade, just to protect and reinforce that poly blade. Well, all that extra steel leads to more weight. My 7.6 poly blade, I believe last time I looked it up, it was like 140, 150 pounds heavier than a steel blade. So I really didn't do myself any favors there, but I was uneducated and I didn't know. And that was the result. I do have a lot of strobe lights, strobe bars. Any questions on details or what the stuff looks like on the plow truck, the plow itself, or the Snow EX Salter I have on it, which is I believe a Pivot Pro 1575. It is a huge, huge Snow EX Salter. It's the largest tailgate salter they make. I bought it used, and that is on the back. There's my 2017 video setup. You can go look at that. It'll show you the details, all my light bars, the controllers I use. I even made separate videos on the controllers. Now, people have asked about 1500 trucks. Should you plow with a 1500? Now, I'm not going to get into if you should buy Ford, GMC, Chevy, Dodge, whatever it is you want to buy. The Tundra, it's a 1500 class truck. You buy whatever you want. It's not about the brand, it is about the size. You have a 1/2 ton, 3/4 ton, 1 ton. And then bigger, of course. A buddy of mine has 2 Ford dump trucks that are F550s. They're big trucks. My recommendation, I've always plowed with a 1500 truck, with a 1/2 ton series truck. I have had 3/4 tons when I've worked for other people plowing, but for myself, I've always had 1/2 ton trucks. I've never had a problem. I've never replaced tie rod ends, ball joints, wheel bearings, all the stuff that everybody says will destroy a truck plowing with a 1/2 ton. I've never had to do any of that. But that's because I don't beat the hell out of my truck. I don't take on more plowing than what I can handle. I pack away so much money over the summer that I don't even have to plow. I have plenty of money to get me through the winter. I don't need to plow snow. I do it because I somewhat enjoy it, even though I get bored of it quick and want to go right back to mowing. But it gives me something to do. I can't sit around. I'm not that lazy of a person. I can't do it. So it gives me something to do, and I somewhat enjoy it. So, but I don't take on more than I can handle. Right now, I think I'm sitting right around 38 to 40 driveways and then 1 parking lot. I had a bunch of other parking lots. I gave them all up this year. If you're doing a bunch of parking lots, you should definitely have a 3/4 ton, 1 ton and up. If you're just doing a bunch of residential driveways, half-ton trucks are the way to go all day. They're lightweight. You don't need a big heavy plow, which is the reason for going with a bigger truck. You'd really like to put a heavier plow on them trucks. You don't really need it when you're doing driveways. You know, just your standard everyday driveways. A 1500 or half, I keep saying 1500, could be an F-150, whatever. But a half-ton truck will get you by all day long. There's a million videos on YouTube of people plowing with half-ton trucks. People have been doing it forever. Like I said, if you don't abuse it, you put timberings in the front. You don't have to, but you put timberings in the front to support your suspension, so you're not giving that constant pressure up and down, that yanking down on the truck on all your suspension parts. Every time you lift that blade, the timberings are absorbing that. You know, you take these things into account, you're good to go. People say, you know, the transmission, the engine, this and that. I had my transmission taken out and rebuilt for torque, so it's got a hell of a transmission in it now anyway, more than what is in a normal 1500 half-ton series truck. But there was nothing wrong with it when I did it. I just did it for the extra insurance, and I planned on keeping the truck for a few more years, so I didn't want to have the problem later on. But I don't care if you have a half-ton, a 3/4 ton, a 1 ton. If you're beating the shit out of that truck, you are going to have problems. I don't care who makes the transmission. I don't care if it's an Allison. You're going to have problems. I watch guys all the time. I'm watching a truck go across the lot, and before that truck even stops, I see their reverse lights come on, which means they're already up in the reverse before that truck is done going forward. Then they back up, and then bam, I see the reverse lights go off, and the truck is still moving backwards, which means they're right down in the drive. That is beating the shit out of that truck. You are the engine, the transmission, the transfer case, the front axle, the rear axle. You're beating everything. And it doesn't matter if it's a 3/4 ton, 1 ton, half-ton. You're gonna do damage. I don't care what it is. You know, like I said, I'm going on my 4th year, I believe, with this truck, and every year I've had multiple parking lots, which I probably shouldn't have been doing with a half-ton, but I didn't have that many driveways. Now I've gotten rid of all the parking lots except for one, and I have a lot more driveways. So I kind of balance it out. It takes me 5 hours, 4.5, 5 hours, depending on the road conditions, how long it takes me to get to properties. You know, that's about how long it takes me to get through my route one time. So I don't have to rush anything. I don't have to beat the hell out of my truck. So it works great, and it lasts me. So can you plow with a 1500 half-ton series truck, F-150, whatever? Of course you can. But you have to take these things into account. You know, is it going to work for you? What kind of contracts are you doing? Are you focused more on residential, or are you looking for commercial? If it's commercial, are they small commercial, small little parking lots, or are they large parking lots? That will determine what kind of vehicle or what size truck you want to get. Also where you're at. You know, if you're living somewhere that gets, you know, a whole bunch of 2, 3, 4 inch snowfalls throughout the whole winter, that's your winter. 2, 3, 4 inches, just a whole bunch of them. You're great with a half-ton truck. But if every time it snows in your area, you're getting 6, 7, 8, a foot plus snowfalls, like just, you know, a couple hours away from me toward more central New York, they get 12 to 2 foot snowfalls almost every time it snows. I would never have a half-ton truck out there. You're never going to keep up with the snow to keep being able to plow each one, go through your whole route, start again, go through the whole thing again, and it only is built up a couple inches in that time. It's going to build up a lot more. And a half-ton truck is really not going to hold up that long to that. So yes, a bigger truck would be better. But no problem. There's guys around here that plow with nothing but Jeep Wranglers. They buy like the 7 foot or 7.5 foot Boss Sport Duty plow. It's a really lightweight plow. They run them all day long. Never have a problem. It's all in how you take care of the truck. It's doing your maintenance on the truck, making sure you're keeping up on that. It's going over your stuff before plow season starts, not just throwing the plow back on and going at it saying, oh, it worked fine last year, I'm good to go. You know, keeping up on the maintenance on stuff and not beating your stuff, not taking on more plowing than you can handle to where you have to rush and you're forced to be hard on that truck, that plow, etc. So that's my take on trucks, and what you should get you need to, I can't tell you what kind of truck to buy. I can't tell you what type of plow to buy. I can't tell you what type of salter to buy. You need to figure out what's best for your area and base it off of that. Okay, you can go on, Google it. You can say, what is the average snowfall for Chicago, Illinois? And it'll tell you what the average is per winter in that area. Base it off of that. You can say, what's the average snowfall for Syracuse, New York? And so type in your area, and it'll tell you what the average is if you really don't know. And then base it off of that. There's a wealth of information, obviously, online. Look into that kind of stuff and go from there. Can you make money at it? Absolutely. I mean, you know, a lot of that comes into pricing, which we'll get into in later videos. But, so, my recommendations are, if you're just doing a bunch of driveways and you want to go with a half-ton truck but you're not sure, do it. You know, I mean, if that's going to work for your area, if you're doing a whole lot of commercial or you're trying to get bigger commercial lots, that's your goal, definitely go 3/4 ton to 1 ton and up. Make sure that truck is rated for that plow. Just because it says HD on that truck does not mean you can put an 8.5 foot Fisher V plow on that truck. It's not going to handle it. A normal HD will not handle the weight of that blade. That's like a 1,200 pound blade. There's no way. The Western Wideout, that's like an 1,100 pound blade, even though it's not a V blade. People put them on, you know, 2500s all the time. I see them. The trucks are sitting like that going down the road. Too much weight hanging off the front of that truck. HD does not mean you can do anything you want to it. There's multiple different HD packages, and each one is specific for what you're doing. You need to look into that. So do a little research and find out. I would never go and buy, I see brand new trucks all the time, $60,000, $70,000 trucks with $8,000 blades on the front of them. As soon as you put a blade on the front of that truck, take 7 years off its life. Minimum 7 years. Because when you go out and you're plowing on your plow road, if you're plowing with a storm like you should be, not waiting till it's over, plowing with the storm, you know, you're out in the worst of the worst. As soon as them highway trucks start salting them roads, if they use salt in your area, which they use it heavy in my area, some places use sand, some places use a salt sand mix. I used to be on an armored truck that went to Erie, PA every single day. I did it for years and years. They use more sand than anything, but they do use a salt sand mix in certain areas. You're getting the worst of the worst coming up under that truck, and you're going to rot it away. Even if you have it sprayed every year, it's going to do its fair share of damage over time. If you run a salter on the back of that truck, a lot of that salt is going to come up under that truck. You're getting more than a truck that's just running a plow and no salter. You're going to pick up more salt. So I buy used trucks. Get 4 or 5 years out of them, get rid of them, get something new. It's the last year for this truck. I'll be going something new next year. So you got to take all that into account. If you're going brand new, you know, you'll have less issues, maybe. I know people have brand new trucks and they still have issues. So take all that into account. But that's my bit on trucks and whether you should plow with a half ton, because so many people ask. And the next one, I think I'm going to go into salt and what you should, different ways you can go about using salt as a solo operation or as a small business using salt, and salters. And then I think maybe I'll go into bidding and pricing maybe in another one. We'll see where it goes from there, but it'll be a multi-part, and follow along if you want this information. Like I said, I'm not telling anybody what to do. I'm not saying your way's right, my way's right, your way's wrong, my way's wrong. This is what I do in my experience, what I've seen, and this is just my opinion.